Hello everyone, AlphaSoul here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to go ahead and cover the September 30th live stream that Ashes of Creation had this past Thursday, and yes, we'll go over it. Just like with my other live stream videos, I'm just going to go ahead and give a kind of a short summary of what occurred, what I thought were the most important things of the live stream. If you want to go ahead and check out the whole thing, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below to the full live stream, which is about an hour and 15 minutes. You can also read an abridged version where you can see a summary, which is at the Ashes post. They always do these really good transcripts where you can, kind of see the questions that were asked, the key points that were hit, and go from there. So check them out. I'll have a link for that down below as well, too. So the biggest things from this live stream, the first is that if you don't have an Alpha 1 key, well, you have an opportunity to take part in it. There's going to be a Halloween contest that Uncharted Studios is having. You can go ahead and enter that in, and if you are one of the winners, you will get Alpha 1 access. So check that out if it's something that you're interested in. These competitions that they usually have are always pretty good. There was a couple of really good entries in last year that I saw that were really creative, really nice, and so it's always a fun time. Go ahead and check it out. From a studio update, it appears they have filled most of the positions that they had actually outstanding. They won't be doing another major push until January for more positions to come in, but they're always kind of looking for talent out there. So if you're interested in working in the gaming industry and you think you have something that might be of interest, or you might be a fit for Ashes of Creation, feel free to apply to Intrepid Studios and go throughout there. So they always kind of put their links for job positions that are open there. So go ahead and check it out if that interests you. Now, they also mentioned that they will not be transitioning back to the office. They've kind of, moved the dates, understandably, because, dates are always moving with this COVID crisis that we kind of have within the United States. So the state of California, which they reside in, is one of the harder hit states, and they're constantly kind of moving their projections. So I think they changed their terminology to, indefinitely, just because, we don't know, frankly, when it will be okay for, employees to kind of go back into their offices, and it will be perfectly fine depending on what's going on. So that was a smart move, I think, on their part. I mean, it's more realistic towards what's actually going on. So, so the office move basically has been indefinitely postponed until, further information can be gleaned and, acquired. Now, the other major thing was the test that occurred. There obviously was a pre-alpha test that occurred. We are not allowed to talk about it. I was involved in it, but it did go off. And once they lift the NDA, I will feel free to go ahead and chime in of what my thoughts were. Now, overall with the live stream, this was a live stream that was heavily involved with mounts, with underwater mount traveling. There was a lot of environments and character arts and things like that were shown on it. As a result, this was not my favorite live stream in terms of, just raw meat. And just to kind of give you guys like a background, what I'm looking for in a live stream is really more detail on specific systems, either how things will work, even, divine nodes or whatever, or, node, how the nodes work, details into the world specifically itself. I am 100% correct, it's of my opinion that Ashes of Creation from a visual standpoint right now is ready to release. It looks great, and I know they're going to keep adding additional things, but quite frankly, the world looks great, the character art looks great, all of those, options, they have me salivating, they look great. And so I don't need, it's just me, but I don't need to actually see more of that to, make my decision to get me more excited. I'm just constantly looking to hear about more of the technical details of the world and how they might evolve. So that kind of explains why I wasn't as hyped or excited for this one. It was largely based on visuals, largely based on kind of running around. And then a tertiary thing that they also covered, which kind of has me, is the underwater combat. I've just never been good at underwater combat. It's been one of my Achilles heels, if you will. It's always just kind of weird for me to be underwater. The depth is off, the timing is off, things like that. And Yeah, so for those reasons, the live stream just did not do it for me in that respect. And there weren't really many specific details that I could go ahead and sink my teeth into. A couple of key things that they did talk about that I liked, and or even that I saw with the live stream, was they heavily promoted like the tropical area, like the Nakua type area, or just a tropical kind of biome. One of the cool things that I saw in there that I hope they do have in the game was they had this kind of like cove-ish thing where there's these rock over structures that kind of bank off into the water that ships can kind of go into, which will be cool to kind of figure out with naval combat and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. The key, an important thing that I think they mentioned was that armor will look different across different races. So if you have a piece of leather armor, for example, and you take that leather armor and put it on a dwarf, it's going to look one way. But if you put it on a human, it's going to look a completely different way. So it's not going to be like the same looking armor on each individual race. Each individual race is going to tailor a specific piece depending on what they are, to kind of, come up with it. So that'll be interesting based on, especially when I'm thinking of things like the Tolnar, for example, who can have any wide range number of qualities to them. But that's interesting to say. That's interesting to hear as far as the direction that they're going for the design. The other thing that, or I'd say the last thing that I wanted to mention that they talked about was the mentorship program. I was disappointed in how they talked about the mentorship program because I didn't get much out of it. What I'm really curious about the mentorship program is how is it practically going to work? So what I mean by that is this. What they talked about, which makes a lot of sense, is their attempt is to use the mentorship program to kind of fuse everyone together, if you will. All right, so low levels will see high levels, mid levels, etc., and everyone will kind of be within the same world, and it kind of fits within the theme that they have of how nodes organically grow and different things pop up here or there. So it looks like you might have a different sort of leveling areas that are around that node, right? That all makes sense. What I'm more curious of, however, is what happens if like a level 50 character groups together with a level 1, right? How does that affect the mentorship program? Can they group together or can they not, right? Jeff talked about aspects like, contributing to a town's growth. You can do it at level 1 versus, whatever level you are. It makes complete sense. But again, I'm more interested in that nitty gritty of, okay, you're in a dungeon now, or, we're going as a group of level 40s. We're about to hit this dungeon right now. Is there a mentorship program or something that allows for that level 5 to come along, right? Or is it that, they can't be bothered, right? So what happens when 2 people level? Like, I want those details as far as the mentorship program goes. And I suspect we'll probably get them later. They might not have that information out yet as, they kind of work things out, but that's why this kind of stream didn't really do much for me. But it was very interesting nonetheless, and it was good to see different things. So that's pretty much my summary of it. Let me know your thoughts of what you thought about the stream, any interesting things that you thought, and share with me. All right? Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day. Alpha Soul out.